long athletic body, and would love to take me for dinner. He knows I like to eat. He's very familiar with me. He thinks I gotta tell you, so we went up to Melbourne. It was a rainy Tuesday night this week. I think it was last week Friday. So it rained, and he came to the park to pick me up. I wasn't eating. I was pick me up. It's a result dating. Like, let's get off the app and get down to business. You know, I'm not gonna meet you at Dunkin' Donuts. At first, I was gonna do that because I know the killer. But I wasn't scared of that. You know, I called up Melvin. Melvin knew, all right, look, this is I'm on a date with a stranger. Just, we want to sit to the side and so on. Turns out we were the only ones at outdoor eating restaurant eating, but the food was still good and I got the carrot cake. He bought the food, but Melvin ended up reversing the charges to his account. In other words, thank you, Melva, but you didn't have to do that. So my car and driver drove us up there. So we had time. I engineered that part, so we had time to, drive and concentrate on talking to each other. And I kind of knew by the first traffic light going to dinner, honestly, that nice guy and he's right for you, but he's just not in a place where he's right for me. I felt like I was too much for him. It was really nice though, and sexy looking, but just not. I am dating to find a boyfriend. I am not dating to date a bunch of men. And unfortunately, you have to date a bunch of men. Does that make sense to you? You have to date a bunch of men to find a boyfriend. I'm looking for somebody to fall in love with, and I knew by the first traffic light that this was a no. Don't laugh. No, I am dating like an adult. Traffic light. And I broke up with him on the telephone. Yeah. I wanted to break up on text, like the kids do. Yeah. And then my assistant chief says, you don't have to even respond to him with this app thing. And you said it too, Joelle. But I'm like, no, I'm civilized. We are adults. And I delicately called his phone the next day. Right before Morel with them, because I'm like, oh God, it was too nice. I don't want to just leave him hanging and think, and we had masked and then we unmasked to eat. Like he looks like a model. Really chocolate. He looks like a model. We would make a stunning couple. As long as we were eating dinner, people were riding bikes, even in the rain, riding bikes, roller skating by, and how you doing and how you doing. And then he was how you doing back, and I how you doing back. And then as they're driving, folks walking by, and I mean a lot of women watchers, they wouldn't stop. And so he goes, we're on a date. This is the first date. Can you please give us like he was very kind and I was kind and we were kind and stunning. But it was so cold that we got the food to go, which I didn't like because that kind of made Mother Nature cut the date short. And I took it into my house and I slopped all over the bed. The cats are like, Mom, you're home early. I said, yeah, that's not the boyfriend, but he's a nice man. He said, Mom, I smelled it. They said, I smell his cologne. You were holding hands or something. I said, yeah, nice. Anywho, I called him up. He answered the phone. I wish he hadn't answered the phone. And I just got right to it. I said, hi. I said it to Wendy. I want to thank you again, but I'm going to keep looking. And somebody's out there for both of us. And yeah. In my mind, I was like, damn it, man. But okay. Anyway, and my search continues and it will continue until I find the one. I want a boyfriend. I want to hold hands. I want a boyfriend. So here on the show, we're in on the dating. We're playing the dating game. And I told you, men, you have 30 seconds. Send your tapes for be my eligible bachelor. You know who I am. You watch the show. We got the tapes. This is our first presentation. There's tons of tapes in the judgment room across the street. So here's our first one. Take a look.
Do you like chocolate? Hello, women. This is Kristen James. I'm 48 years old. No kids. Never been married. From Atlanta, Georgia. Love traveling. I'm a high-value alpha male. And I want to take you out on a date because you deserve to be treated like a queen. And I want to be the last man to open up the water for you.
Patrick, you never want me to be with anyone. He's living his single life through me because he's married with a bunch of kids. And sees the rest of us out here looking fly and flashy. It's lonely out here in these streets, though. Patrick? good for everybody. Don't feel that pressure. If you or somebody that you know qualifies for the job, go to wendyshow.com, and remember, just because I'm tall doesn't mean you have to be tall. Just because I am of means doesn't mean you have to be of means. You just have to carry your own weight, and you have to have an interesting conversation. I want you to be funny, and you don't have to wear a suit. You don't even have to look good in a suit. Just because we can work on that. You know.
The fastest way to raise your credit score is it A, pay your bills on time, B, hire a credit repair agency, or C, increase, or D, none of the above. Yes, may surprise you, because if you're one of the 153 million Americans with a credit score below 720, chances are everything you thought you knew about raising your scores is not only dead wrong, but it's actually costing you thousands of dollars. This is money that should put in your bank account, not the billion-dollar banks, credit card companies, compliments, and killer posts. You know your scores are lower than they should be. You don't know how to fix it. Well, after seeing so many people suffering from this problem, one expert who works inside the credit industry decided enough was enough and released the challenge.
11. I mean,
I started my scores were somewhere around 2,500s to 600s, and maybe around 6 months, I had climbed up to the 700s. At that point, I was able to buy a house. All the steps, I was able to take my credit score and raise it up 151 points. I've been able to remove all 12 negative accounts on my credit report, and now my score is a 747, coming from it being a low 500s just 90 days ago. I mean, that's amazing how much I've been able to.
Good morning, everyone. How are you? Happy, beautiful Saturday. It's good to see all of you guys here. I am, let's see. Oh, we've got a few minutes. I'm just burning a little sage just to kind of lighten up the room, remove any kind of negativity. And I've got a couple of crystals here with me today. Got my amethyst, have my blue calcite. Amethyst is good for wisdom, which I always hope that I can bring to my classes. And the blue calcite is just to help with being able to communicate and have power in my voice. So I'm happy to see you guys. We're going to start in a seated position. We're going to give everyone a chance to make it into the room. So we'll start just a couple minutes after 11 o'clock. but we can always get started. Find a comfortable seated position because this is where we're going to start. So find that comfortable seated position, whatever that may look like for you this morning. Sometimes it might be with legs crossed. Sometimes you might want to have your legs directly out in front of you. But I'm going to let you just feel what's best for your body today. Relax your shoulders down, tuck your chin. And just start to get connected to your space. Start to ground down, feeling your sitting bones, making that connection with the earth below you. And while we just wait for our other yogis, we're just gonna just take some moments just to be in our body, enjoy being in our space, and just breathe, connecting with our breath. So just taking a few minutes of meditation while we wait. This is a good time to just kind of acknowledge any kind of thoughts that are going on in your head, maybe acknowledging what you might have brought into your practice. Sometimes we have very challenging weeks, and the week that we had and the things that took place during the course of our week, we bring that into our practice. So it's a good time to just acknowledge what it is that you might have brought with you. And just as you breathe in, you just acknowledge this. And as you breathe out, you just release it. So just take some moments, maybe close your eyes, maybe allow your eyes to be maybe just half mask, and just breathe. Enjoy being in your body, enjoy this day. Think of this as a way to just fresh start, set a new tone for your week. Maybe just set a new tone for just the weekend ahead. If you like, in my practice, I like to set an intention. An intention is just a thought, an objective that maybe you'd like to set before your practice. And I'm just going to close my eyes and we'll just take it into silence until we get started.
Can I hear you? Hey, Pamela, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Hey.
Okay.
Good morning. Welcome. We're going to get started in just a couple of minutes. We're just taking some time to just kind of meditate, get into our space, ground down, get ready for practice. So just in a couple of minutes, you guys. Well, good morning, everybody. It's wonderful to see you. I'm Pam, for any of you guys who are dropping in for the first time. We try to do this session once a month where we all get together on Zoom. Maybe at some point in time, our world will allow us to be able to get together in person, but for now, this is a good alternative. So I'm happy to see you guys. Welcome. Again, let's get started in that comfortable seated position. We're just going to connect to our breath and then do a little bit of warming up seated. Today is about going with the flow. We're going to do some flow postures today in our practice. And a lot of people, they think that with yoga, when you flow in yoga, they feel like it's repetitive. But I think what they lose is they don't see the magic in the repetition. The repetition in yoga is for you to be able to see what comes up. You'd be surprised about what arises to the surface during the course of your practice. You have thoughts, feelings, emotions, stories that come up while you're in the midst of your practice, while you're going through this flow. And it's during that time that these things come up that you're able to process them on the mat. And what that does for you is that when you take that off the mat, you take your practice off of the mat and into the world, and then you find yourself being more capable of handling those emotions and those feelings. So I just ask you to go with the flow, allow whatever comes up to come up, and just let your breath, use your breath to process that. So come into that comfortable seated position. Let me put on my timer because you guys know I get real excited and I forget about time. I have one of our yogis asking me for the passcode. So get into that comfortable seated position. What we're going to do first is just take some detoxing breaths. So take a nice deep inhale in through your nose. Exhale it out the mouth. Nice deep inhale from the pit of the belly. Bring it up into the chest. Exhale it out the mouth. Let's do two more. Deep inhale. Drawing deep from the belly into the chest. Release it out the mouth. Last one, nice deep inhale in. Maybe deeper than the other three. As deep as you can get it. Take an extra little sip of breath if you can. And release it out of the mouth. Seal the lips. Start to breathe in through the nose, out through the nose. Relax those shoulders down. Spine is nice and tall. Chin is tucked. That just allows us to be able to get the pressure of the weight rather of our head off of our shoulders. Start to breathe. Let the breath settle. Bring yourself to whatever is your normal breath pattern. Taking note as you inhale in, letting that breath come into the body from the belly up into the chest. Let the chest expand. On that exhale, when we release, we draw that breath back down toward the belly. Draw the navel to the spine, and we release. So just taking a couple of breaths just like that, your own breath pattern. Releasing anything, like I said, that you may have brought into your practice today that no longer serves you in a positive way. Letting it go, going with the flow. Allowing whatever comes up, just let it come up. Work through it and process it through your practice. Take a nice inhale, breath in. Take that gaze up skyward to the ceiling. As you exhale, draw that chin down to your chest. Inhale, gazing upward, working those muscles in our neck that get tired and tense. Release that exhale, draw the chin to the chest. Take a few more, just like that. Connect it to your own breath. Let your breath be your guide on how fast or how slow you take these movements during your practice this morning. Bring it back to center. We're just going to take some simple neck circles. You choose the direction. I call that yogi's choice. And just make note of how your neck feels. Yoga is about mindfulness, getting in touch with your body, how your body feels. Like I said, we use those muscles in our neck. When we sit, we work at a computer. Those muscles get tight, they get sore. Take a pause, inhale in here. And as you exhale, take that rotation in the opposite direction. And then make note of the difference you might feel as you rotate your head in this direction. There may be some differences, just being mindful of that. And then bring your head back to center. Let's put some work into those shoulders. Take an inhale in here and draw those shoulders up as close as you can to your ears. As you exhale, draw the shoulders back and around. Inhale, lifting up. Exhale, roll the shoulders back and around. Take this again. This is going to be your own breath cycle. Each time you roll those shoulders back, draw those shoulder blades just a little bit closer. You'll feel your breath will open up a little bit more because you're expanding your chest, expanding that lung capacity. Bring those shoulders back to neutral position. We're going to take it in the opposite direction. Take an inhale in, draw those shoulders up as close as you can to the ears and roll them forward. Again, take this on your own pace, connecting it to your own breath. And these movements can be as fast or as slow as you feel is right for your body today. You are your own guide. I'm giving you suggestions, but then you are doing it the way that works best for you. Come back to center. If you had your legs crossed, uncross them at this time. Stretch those legs out and just give them just a little bit of a massage. Get that blood flowing. And if you'd like, cross your legs in the opposite direction. So in other words, if you had right over left, maybe cross left over right so you can have a different experience within your body. That's a yogi's choice. You don't have to do that. Place those palms on your knees. We're going to do some body circles. With body circles, we're starting to activate that core. So we want to draw that navel back as close to the spine as we can. Keep that spine nice and tall, hands on the knees. You take those circles in whatever direction works well for you. And we want to activate the core early because we're going to use that core. We're going to use our center as we do our standing poses. Take a pause here. Inhale in. And as you exhale, take that body rotation in the opposite direction. These circles can be as fast or as slow as you'd like them to be. Like I said, this is what I call yogi's choice. You do what your body is telling you is best. And bring it back to center. Let's stretch those legs out. As you're ready, come into hands and knees, tabletop position. We want our knees to be directly under our hips, and we want our wrists to be directly under our shoulders so that you have the muscles stacked. We're going to do a little cat-cow. So we're going to take an inhale here. We're going to drop that belly down, lift the tailbone up, and take that gaze upward. As we exhale, we push into the mat, almost like you're trying to push that mat away from you. Draw the tailbone down, chin to chest. Coming into that cat position. Inhale, drop the belly, gaze upward. Really lift that tailbone. That loosens up the lower back. Exhale, push into the mat, chin to chest. Tailbone draws down. Take a few more of these. This is going to be your own breath cycle. You being that guide that knows what's best for your body today. Feel free to maybe put a little bend into the elbows. That loosens up the back. You might want to do some body circles, just circling the body around. Find your groove. Find what feels good to you here. If you do the body circles, just make sure that if you do them one direction, you want to make sure you do the opposite direction. And come back to center. We're gonna do a little core work early. I know it's early in the game and already we're doing core work, but it's good for us. When we develop that core, we develop our willpower, we develop our motivation, and we draw on strength from our center so we can use that off the mat. So coming back into that tabletop position, let's reach that right arm out. Palm is facing to the left wall. And we're gonna try to do a little balance here. We're gonna stretch out that left leg and place the toes right there on our mat. Gaze is down. This is to help us gain balance for the next part. This is called bird dog. And then if you'd like, go ahead and lift that left leg. So your right arm is extended. Left leg is extended, flex into your feet. Gaze is right there between your hands or in the center of your mat. And breathe. Draw that navel back toward the spine. Bring the right hand down, left knee down. Open the knees wide, push the hips back. Take a brief child's pose. This is early in our practice, so we're gonna take it easy. We can amp it up as we go along. Come back to tabletop. Let's do the other side. Come into your tabletop position, reach that left arm out. Open palm to the right side of your room. And then take that right foot back, toes to the mat. Get that gaze right there in between or in the center of your mat. When you're ready, the progression is to lift that right leg, coming into bird dog. Flex into the right foot. Keeping that gaze in the center of your mat, that helps us to be able to maintain that balance. Couple of breaths here. Release the left hand to the mat, right knee to the mat. So you guys, this is where the core work is gonna come in. Go ahead, open those knees wide, big toes touch, push back for that brief child's pose. Child's pose is available to you during your practice. Anytime you need a break, anytime you need reconnection, you come to this pose. Child's pose builds endurance, which is exactly what we want to do for the next portion of this core work. Come back to our tabletop position. Reach that right arm out, left leg extended, and do a little elbow to knee. Take an inhale breath here. As you exhale, take that elbow to right elbow to left knee. Little bit of a crunch. Inhale, stretch and extend. Exhale, elbow to knee. Inhale, stretch and extend. Exhale, right elbow, left knee. Two more. Inhale, extend, stretch those fingertips out. Exhale, elbow to knee. Last one, stretch and extend. Beautiful. Elbow to knee and hold. Breathe. If you wobble, if you fall, just come back and stretch it out. Bring the right hand to the mat, left knee to the mat. You need to take a child's pose. Feel free to do so. We're gonna start on the other side. Stretch out that left arm, right leg. Take an inhale breath. Exhale, left elbow, right knee. Inhale, stretch and extend. Exhale, elbow to knee. Inhale, stretch and extend. Exhale, crunch. 2 more. Inhale, stretch and extend. Exhale, crunch. Last one, inhale, stretch and extend. Exhale, crunch and hold. Breathe. When you flow, when it feels uncomfortable, come back to the breath. Exhale, release, stretch and extend. Bring your hand and your knee to the mat. Good job, you guys. Take an inhale breath here, curl the toes. As you exhale, push into the mat. Lift the hips. First downward facing dog of our practice.
There's a lot to do.
You can walk it out here, walk that dog, bending into each knee, and then pushing into the ball of the opposite foot. You can shake your head yes, shake your head no. Release any kind of tension you might be feeling in your neck and your shoulders. And with the down dog, those hands are planted firmly. Heels are drawing down towards the mat. They may or may not touch. And it's almost like you're pushing your face towards your knees. Take that gaze to the top of your space and walk your feet up to your hands. Coming into a forward fold. Now here, we're gonna widen the feet about mat width. And we're gonna take a nice deep bend into those knees. Grab opposite elbows and draw the crown of your head down towards your space. This is to loosen up that lower back. Now you can start to sway. Other options, yogis, are you can take those hands and just place them down on the mat on either side of your feet. Shaking your head yes, shaking your head no. This is just a time to really loosen up. Let your belly rest on your thighs. Probably the only time you'll ever hear that in yoga. Usually we're telling you don't rest your belly on your thigh. We want to make the core work. But this is an exception to that rule. Come back to stillness, release opposite elbows. Heel toe those feet so they come under your hips. And then we're gonna come up into a standing position just by kind of inching up one vertebra at a time. So nice and slow, crown of your head pointed down toward the mat. Just start to come up. Just like you're an inchworm. Last thing to come up is gonna be your head and your shoulders. Once you come up, I'm gonna back up a little bit so you can see me, because I can see my head is cut off. I'm gonna roll those shoulders backwards, roll those shoulders forward, and come into what's called mountain pose. Palms are open, palms are face out to the very front of your room. Take an inhale breath in and raise those hands overhead. Take an inhale here. And as you exhale, we're gonna bring that right hand to our right thigh. And we're just gonna lean over to that right side. Allowing our left hand to guide us, opening up and breathing into that left side body. Keeping the shoulders nice and open. We don't wanna slump into this. You think about keeping your chest open. Inhale, come back to center, raise both hands overhead. Place that left hand this time on your left thigh. And take an inhale breath first. Exhale, draw that right hand over to the left. Chest is nice and open. Breathing into that right side body. Feet are below the hips. Inhale, come back to center. We're gonna take an inhale breath here. As we exhale, forward fold. Coming back into that forward fold position. Take an inhale breath here and come up halfway. You're gonna hear this during your practice, this is part of our sun salutations. Halfway lift is palms come to the thighs or palms can come to your shins. But we want to make sure that our neck is nice and long. We want to make sure that our shoulders are drawn down rather than up around the ears. We're gonna flow through that a couple of times. Take an inhale breath here. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, lift halfway, flat back. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, flat back, like you're looking over a cliff. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, come all the way up, back into that high mountain pose. Exhale, hands down to the side. Raise that left hand up, come over to the right hand side. Again, doing that half moon stretch. Inhale, come back to center. Take an inhale breath here. Left hand, left thigh. Little half moon stretch again over to our left. Come back to your center on that inhale. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, release, forward fold. This time we're going to walk the feet out into downward facing dog. So walk back into your downward facing dog. And we're going to shift over into plank pose. So we're just going to shift the weight so we come into plank. Now for our first plank of the day, because we're going to do a few, I'll be honest, draw those knees down to the mat for our first plank. We want to make sure that those elbows, or rather the wrists, are directly below the shoulders. Bend the elbows back toward the back of your room and draw your chest down to the mat with as much control as you can. Once you come to the mat, keep those hands nice and close to the rib cage, elbows pointing to the back of the room, tops of your feet making contact with your mat. Take an inhale breath here and lift up, baby cobra. Exhale, draw the chest down to the mat. Inhale, lift. It's like a wave, you guys.
I don't know what that means.
Exhale, lower. Two more. Inhale, lift, baby cobra. Exhale, release. Inhale, lift for cobra. And you can lift those hands off the ground if you'd like. Little bit of an unsupported cobra. Keep the neck nice and long. Use the tops of your feet. That's going to help you to be able to just get that strength and release those hands to the mat. Push into the mat, come into tabletop. Go the toes downward facing dog. Walk it out if you need to. Shake your head, whatever you need to do. Let's put that all together. Gaze toward the top of your space. Walk those feet up to your hands. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, release. Forward fold. Inhale, root and rise. Bring those hands up overhead.
Oops.
Exhale, release, forward fold.
Because
Inhale, lift halfway.
So much fat.
Exhale, hands to the mat. Walk back into full plank.
No,
plank. For full plank, make sure that the hips aren't up high. You want to keep the hips and the back level. Bend those elbows back, lower the chest with control.
Wait, I was 173 last time.
Bring your hands to either side of your body. Take an inhale breath here. Push up into baby cobra, or fully extend those arms for an upward facing dog. This is yogi's choice, whatever works best for you. Take an inhale breath here, curl the toes. Exhale, downward facing dog. Breathe it out. This is your transition.
Steroid shot appointment. I mean the PRP when they take the blood out and
Let's
put it in.
do that one more time. Gaze to the top of your space. Walk those feet up to meet the hands. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold.
It was never.
Inhale, root, rise. Bring
But
those
whenever I
hands
had to watch
overhead.
appointments together.
And then exhale, forward fold. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, forward fold. Draw those hands down to the mat. Walk back into plank. Take that inhale breath here. Bend those elbows back to the back of the room. Chest comes down with control. Take that inhale breath. Lift up. Cobra of choice. Other options, ladies, lift those thighs off the mat, coming onto the tops of your feet.
What it look like?
Rolling over your toes, come into downward facing dog.
Pam,
Good
I'm
job,
sorry.
you guys.
Pam, can you hear me? I'm sorry to interrupt, but I'm getting feedback from someone. I think they're unmuted. I can hear them.
It might be. Give me 1 second.
Thank you. I'm so sorry.
That's okay. Thank you for letting me know. I'm muting some people. Don't think I'm muting you because I don't love you. I do love you. But the feedback, I know it's hard. All right. Coming into that downward facing dog. Couple of breaths here. Also, no child's pose is available to you. We're going to start to flow, you guys. Take that right foot, bring it to the top of your space. Coming into a high lunge or runner's lunge. Float that left knee down to the mat, making sure that that right knee is directly over our ankle. Bring yourself up into that low lunge. Take an inhale breath and lift those hands overhead. Bring those palms together, squeeze those palms together. As you inhale, exhale, frame that right foot, lift the left knee off the mat and come into plank. Kneeling plank or full plank. Take an inhale breath here. Exhale, lower down with control. And inhale up, your back bend of choice. Take an inhale here. Exhale, downward facing dog. Walk it out, breathe, whatever you need here. Left foot comes to the top of your space. First, coming into that runner's lunge. Float that right knee down to the mat. Making sure we have that alignment. Lift those hands up overhead. Bring those palms together. Squeeze those palms together. Frame that left foot. Lift that right knee off of the mat. Bring the right foot up to meet the left. Inhale, lift up, halfway lift. Exhale, release, forward fold. Inhale, root, rise. Bring those hands overhead, high mountain. Exhale, bring it right back down, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Let's walk those feet back to downward facing dog. Taking a couple of breaths here. Taking a moment, just move the feet a little bit closer together. Take an inhale breath, lift that right leg. Coming into a three-legged dog, flexing into that right foot. Take an inhale breath and bring that right foot in between your hands. Coming back to that high lunge that we know and love. And we're going to take that left foot and bring it at an angle. Bring those hands onto your hips. This is just so that we can draw the hips so that they're facing forward. Start to lift up from the chest, keeping a bend in that right knee. When you're ready, lift those hands and come into our warrior one. So we're gonna flow just a little bit here. Open those palms so that they're facing the front of the room. As we inhale, we're going to straighten that right leg. And as we exhale, we're going to bend the right knee and draw those hands down. This is a flowing trident pose. Inhale, lifting up, straightening that right knee. Exhale, bending into it, drawing those elbows down toward the abs. A few more times, you guys. Inhale. Breathe it in. Exhale. Draw it down. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale this time. Keep that right leg straight. Bring those hands behind your back. Join your hands together. Squeeze those shoulder blades together. Draw those knuckles down toward the mat. And just open up the chest. Lift the gaze upward. And breathe. Bring your head back to center. Take an inhale breath. And as you exhale, just start to draw your chest down toward the mat. And we're just gonna bring it halfway. Drawing that navel back toward the spine. Squeezing those shoulder blades together. Now, yogis, we can stay right here, or we can take that navel back toward the spine, taking a breath. Navel back toward the spine and start to draw the face toward the knee. Now, toward the knee doesn't mean that your face has to touch the knee. And breathe. Take an inhale breath and start to lift up, lifting the chest up. Coming back to that first position, maybe opening up a little. That feels so good. Taking that gaze upward. Put a little bend in your knee. Release your hands and bring them overhead. Take an inhale breath here. As you exhale, open up. The hips are gonna face to that left wall. And we're opening up into our warrior two. Take an inhale breath. Flip that right palm up. And take the hand back, coming into reverse warrior. That left hand is just gonna rest on that left thigh. Come back to center on that inhale. As we exhale, bend that right arm, bring that forearm onto the right thigh, open up the chest, lift up that left hand, coming into a supported side angle. So we're gonna flow a few times, ladies, through this flow. Inhale, come back to our center, warrior two. Exhale, reverse warrior. Inhale, back to our center. Exhale, side angle. Inhale. Exhale, reverse. Inhale, come back to center. Exhale, come into that side angle. And we're gonna take it just a little bit deeper if we can. Couple of ways we can do that. We can take that left bicep and bring it closer to the left ear. We can also take that right forearm from our right thigh and open that right arm up into the inside of that right leg. So just a couple of progressions that you can use in your practice. Take an inhale breath, come back to that center, that beautiful, strong warrior two. Cascade those hands down to the mat. Take the right foot back to meet the left, come into plank. Take that inhale breath. Exhale, lower the body with control. And take an inhale breath. Push up your back bend of choice. Inhale here. Exhale, downward facing dog. Breathe it in. Take an inhale breath here. Lift that left leg, three-legged dog. And bring that left foot in between the hands. Turn the right foot at an angle. Bring those hands to your hips. This is just to guide the hips so that they face forward for our warrior one. Start to lift the chest. When you're ready, lift those hands overhead, coming into warrior one. Making sure we have that nice bend in that left knee. Turn the palms so that they face the front of your space. Take an inhale breath, straighten that left leg. Lift and extend the hands up. Exhale, draw those elbows down toward the abs, bending into that left knee. Inhale, lift up, extend. Exhale, draw it down. Inhale and exhale. 2 more. Inhale and exhale. This time, inhale, stretching up. Left leg is not bent, nice and straight. Take those hands behind your back. Squeeze those shoulder blades together. Draw those knuckles down toward your back. Open up that chest and gaze upward. Bring your head back to center. Take a breath here. And as you exhale, start to bring the chest forward, coming halfway. Draw that navel back toward the spine. Squeeze those shoulder blades together. Now we can stay here or we can progress it. Take it just a little bit further. You want to come with me, take that navel back toward the spine on that inhale. And just start to bring the face closer to the knee. Inhale, lift up. Maybe opening up a little bit again, if that felt good to you. Put that bend back in that left knee. Release those hands. Bring those hands overhead. Take a nice inhale here. And then exhale, opening up. Coming into warrior 2. Simply doing what we did on the other side, maintaining that balance. Take an inhale breath and flip that left palm up. Reverse that warrior. Inhale back to our center. Bend that left arm and bring that left forearm onto the left thigh, coming into our side angle. Let's flow a little bit here, like we did on the other side. Inhale, come back to center. Exhale, reverse warrior. Inhale, center. Exhale, side angle. 2 more. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale, center. Exhale, side angle. Last one, inhale to center. Take that reverse warrior. Inhale back to our center. Exhale, side angle. And we're gonna hold. Now again, you have those options. You can bring that right bicep close to your right ear and draw that right arm overhead. You also have the option to open that left arm up into the inside of that left leg for a little unsupported side angle. Take an inhale breath. Bring it back to center. Cascade those hands down to the mat and bring that right foot up to meet the left. Inhale, lift up halfway. Exhale, release, forward fold. Inhale, bring those hands up overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, flat back. Exhale, forward fold. Awesome job, you guys. Walk those feet back into downward facing dog. We're gonna do a little bit of balance today. I like adding balance to my practice because it's kind of like the practice. I practice balance here on the mat, and then I can take it out into my day and practice balance during the course of my day. Take an inhale, lift that right leg high. Bend the right knee, open up the hip. Take that right foot over to the left. Maybe rotate the ankle in both directions. Bring the right knee back to center and bring that right foot in between your hands. Now to give ourselves just a little bit of support, interlace those hands, bring them onto your right thigh. You're gonna see the difference here is that our left heel is elevated. So it's a little bit different than what we did when we did our warrior one. So start to lift the chest up and bring those hands overhead. Coming into a high lunge. Now we're gonna flow a little bit with this, a little bit of core work here. This is one of my favorite flows. Bring those palms together. Nice inhale, exhale, bring those hands to heart. Inhale, bring those hands out in front, and then bring those hands down. We're gonna flow through that a few times. Challenges your balance, lets you really connect the breath. Inhale, lift those hands up, bring them overhead. Hands come together. Exhale, draw those hands down to heart. Inhale, bring the hands forward, pressing those palms together. Exhale, frame that right foot. 2 more. Inhale, lift those hands up overhead, palms come together. Exhale, hands to heart. Inhale, draw those palms forward. Exhale, hands come to frame that right foot. Last time, inhale, lift those hands up. Bring them together. Exhale, hands to heart. Inhale, draw those hands forward. Exhale, bring those hands down to the mat. This time, inhale, bring those hands up overhead, just like we did, and bring those hands to heart. For this one, you have 2 choices. We're gonna take an inhale breath here, and we're just gonna twist the body over to our right wall, twisting from our center, twisting from our torso rather than the hips. We can stay right here, or we can use a progression where we take that left elbow to the outside of that right knee, pressing those palms together and coming into a crescent lunge twist. Press those palms together, bringing them to the center of the chest. Looking over that right shoulder. Take an inhale breath, come back to center. Raise those hands overhead. And exhale, frame that right foot. Take the right foot back to meet the left. Come into down dog. Couple of breaths here. Child's pose if needed. Take an inhale breath, lifting that left leg, bending the left knee, opening the left hip. Maybe rotating the ankles in both directions. And bring that left knee to center. Bring that left foot in between the hands. Interlace those hands, bring them onto the left thigh. This is just to give us a little bit of balance and start to lift that chest up. When you're ready, lift those hands overhead. Then do the same flow on this side. Remember, balance. Bring those hands together, inhale, exhale, draw those hands to heart. Inhale, draw the hands forward. Exhale, hands come down to the mat. Inhale, lift those hands up overhead. Hands come together. Exhale, hands to heart. Inhale, bring those hands forward. Exhale, hands come down to the mat. Let's flow with it, ladies. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, draw it down. Inhale, bring it forward. Exhale, release it to the ground. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, draw it down. Inhale, bring it forward. Exhale, release. Inhale, bring those hands up. overhead. Exhale, draw those hands to heart. Same as we did on the other side. You can twist from the torso to that left wall. Or you can take the right elbow to the outer edge of that left knee. Coming into prayer, hands crescent twist. Bringing those palms together. And squeezing them toward the center of your chest. Inhale, come back to center, lift up. Bring those hands overhead. Frame that left foot. Bring that right foot up to meet the left. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, release, forward fold. Inhale, root, rise, lift those hands overhead. Bring those palms together. Hands come to heart. Take this moment just to allow the practice to just kind of bake over you. Let the energy settle. Again, whatever arises, whatever comes up, give yourself a moment to process. Feeling the feet grounded below you. Take an inhale breath, bring those hands overhead, exhale, forward fold. Walk those feet back into plank. Last plank of the day. As you inhale, release the chest down with control. Good job. Take that inhale breath, lift up. Coming into your back bend of choice. Curl the toes, downward facing dog. Taking a couple of breaths here. This is the last down dog of our practice today. Gently bring the knees to the mat. Big toes touch, knees come wide, and just shift the hips back into a brief child's pose. Let your forearms rest on the mat. If your forehead does not meet the mat, that's okay. And breathe. Bring those hands on either side of your forearm. Take an inhale breath here and push up back into that tabletop position. Let's go ahead, let's bring it down to our belly. Just gonna do a little bit of work here. We're gonna take the hands and we're gonna stretch them out in front of us, keeping the chin close to the mat. We're gonna take an inhale breath here, and we're just gonna lift those hands up. So your feet, the tops of your feet are touching the mat. Only thing that's lifted is head and your arms. Palms face down. Take an inhale breath here. Exhale, release. Bring that chin to the mat. Palms are touching the mat. This time we're going to lift just the feet. So keeping that chin low, take an inhale breath and lift the legs. Now don't worry about how high the legs lift. That's not the objective. Taking a couple of breaths here. Exhale, release. So we're gonna put that all together, of course, right? So we're gonna take an inhale, lift the arms, and then exhale, lift the legs. Top of the head is pointing toward the front of our space, and we're breathing into this. And release. Good job. Go ahead, bring those hands on either side of the rib cage, push up. First into tabletop, and then coming into a seated position. Let's go ahead, bring those feet together. Bound angle pose, so the soles of your feet come together. Take an inhale breath. Lift those hands overhead. And then we're gonna just, before we really dig into this pose, we're gonna bring the hands out in front of us and we're just gonna slightly lean forward. And just breathe, draw that navel back toward the spine. Inhale, lift those hands overhead. This time, bringing the hands to the feet. Couple of options, you can hold on to the feet, or you can hold on, you can use your peace fingers to hold on to the big toes. That's yogi's choice. I prefer to just hold the feet. Take an inhale breath here. As you exhale, just start to draw the face down toward the feet. We're just stretching. You do not have to have your face touch your feet. Not required for a good stretch. Other options are you can use the elbows in the inside of your knees to just kind of draw the knees down toward the mat. That's just to get a little bit more intensity into that stretch, if that's something that you feel that you need. Take an inhale breath here, come up. Let's straighten out those legs, get another kind of stretch. Legs nice and stretched, spine nice and tall. Inhale, lift those hands up. And on that exhale, bring the hands forward, taking a hold of whatever you can. You might take a hold of the soles of your feet, maybe your toes, maybe the ankles or your shins. It really doesn't matter how, what you can touch. It's really, we want to put that focus into the stretch. Take an inhale here. Draw the navel back a little bit more toward the spine and maybe hinge forward just a little bit deeper. And feel that nice release that you have coming in your lower back. And inhale, come up. As gently as you can, start to lower onto your back. Nice and slow. Take an inhale breath here, and then draw that right knee up towards your chest. Interlace your fingers, place them below your right knee joint. Flex both of your feet. Take an inhale breath. And as you exhale, just draw that right knee a little bit closer to your chest. Allow your left palm to stay below that right kneecap. Stretch out the right arm, palm flat on your mat or the floor. Take a nice inhale breath in. And as you exhale, draw that right knee over to the left for supine twist. Now your gaze can be up at the ceiling, or you can take your gaze over that right shoulder. Try to keep your shoulders as close to the mat as you can. Taking that focus to breathe into that right side body. And then bring your body back to center. Keep the right knee bent. Bring the left knee up to meet the right. And just hug those knees to your chest. If you like, you can rock side to side. Get yourself a nice little back massage. And then interlace those hands, place them below the left knee joint, stretch out the right leg. Flex into both feet. Take an inhale breath. And as you exhale, just draw that left knee just a little bit closer to your chest. Let the right palm remain under the left kneecap. Stretch out the left arm. Palm facing down, take an inhale breath. And as you exhale, draw the left knee over to our right for supine twist. Gaze up ahead at your ceiling or over that left shoulder, keeping the shoulders nice and firmly rooted to our mat or as close as we can come. Taking that focus to our left side body, getting all that good breath in there. So we can use it later as our reserves of energy. And then coming back to center, bring both knees up to your chest, hug them in, maybe rock side to side, or maybe knee circles here if that feels good to you. Take an inhale breath and draw your head and shoulders off the mat, bringing your face as close to the knees as you can. Curling up into that tight little ball, as tight as you can make it. Taking some deep breaths as we end our practice. Maybe taking your mind back to that intention that you set at the beginning of your class. Take one last deep inhale here. And as you exhale, release your legs, release your arms, come flat onto your back for your last, final, sometimes your best pose of Shavasana. Taking just a few minutes to let our practice just kind of work through. Feeling the effects of our practice. Allowing our feet to come to either side. Letting our arms be just a little ways away from our body. Eyes are closed. And we're just allowing the body to reset, to relax, to recalibrate. Start to gently come back into your body. Start to introduce small movements back into your body, wiggling your fingers, rotating your wrist in both directions, maybe closing your hands into a fist and then opening the fingers out. And then start to bring small movement back into our feet, wiggling our toes, rotating the ankles in both directions. And then when you're ready, stretch your hands overhead, stretching and extending your fingertips to the wall behind you. And then stretching your legs out in front of you, pointing your toes for a nice long line of energy in that stretch from head to toe, from fingertips down to the toes. Bend your knees, bring the feet flat to the mat. And then turn your knees over to whatever side is your favorite, at least for today. Allow your head to rest on your arm. Just breathing in, enjoying the effects of your practice, how good our practice makes us feel. Thank yourself for showing up for you. This is for you. This is for your self-care. Using that free hand, push yourself up, come into a comfortable seated position. And your comfortable seated position doesn't have to look like the one that you had when you started your practice. It might look a little bit different. Take a moment to bring those hands together at heart center, rub them together, generate a little energy, a little heat. I think of this as a way to get some positive energy back into my body. When you feel sufficient heat, just place those palms over your eyelids and just let that energy flow. Breathe it in, absorb it, take it in. Have it for when you may need it during your day or during your week. Bring the palms together at heart center. I just want to thank all of you for showing up for yourself, allowing yourself to go through the flow, being brave enough to let stuff arise and to bubble up to the surface, and having that courage to process it and to work it out on the mat and off the mat. I want to thank you. Have a wonderful day. And with that, we seal our practice with Namaste. Namaste, ladies. Thank you so much. Give yourselves a little hand clap. Next month, there won't be a class because there's going to be a festival, which is even better than a class. So we are having our second annual Soul Long Beach Yoga Festival, which is going to be the week of Saturday, February the 20th, Sunday, February 21st. It's going to be 2 days of virtual all-day yoga. We are also going to have meditation, live music. We're going to have sound healing. We're going to have a session of yoga nidra. New to the lineup will be a class, a yoga class for parents on how to help their children manage stress. We're also going to have a yoga class where it's going to be a mother and her son teaching yoga. And we're also going to have yoga for the first time in Espanol. So some new stuff coming up. It's going to be a lot of fun. Get together with friends, keeping in mind safety orders, of course, but, get together with friends, enjoy the day. You don't have to do the full day. A lot of people are like, oh, I don't have the time. You don't have to do the whole day. Our schedule is on our website, SoulLongBeachYogaFestival.com. You can pick what classes you'd like to do. You can check in, you can check out. Each day we have an hour where you can listen to live music and shop our virtual mall. We've got a lot of vendors who have some amazing products, and they will be live with you to answer questions and to talk about their products. So please join us for the lunch break so that you can shop. The festival is only $10 a day. There is nowhere that I know of in Long Beach or anywhere where you can do a yoga class, least of all day for $10 a day. So it's really inexpensive, it's affordable. We've had a lot of people and organizations that have donated tickets. So with that being said, if you would like to come to the festival, send me a message and I can send you passes, because we've got all these very generous people in our community. So just send me a message. You guys know how to find me. You can text me. And I hope to see you next month, and we'll reconvene together in the month of March. I love you guys. Thank you so much for your time and your practice. And thank you for your confidence in allowing me to guide you. Namaste.
Thank you, Pam.
Thank you. Good to see you, Zaina Zane.
Good to see you. Mwah. Love you.
Love you. Bye, you guys.